Come into this place of peace, and let silence your spirit. Come into this place of memory, and let its history warm your soul. Come into this place of power, and let its vision change your heart. Come into this place of peace, come and silence your spirit. Come into this place of memory, come and its history warm your soul. Come into this place of power, and let its vision change your heart. Please let me make something beautiful, a thing that reminds us there's good in the world, a thing that reminds us there's still something out there worth fighting for. 'Cause it feels like the world has gone crazy, spinning faster and cheaper than ever before. And it feels like there's nobody giving a care, and it's getting worse. Ooh, let it be something wonderful. Ooh, let it be something beautiful. Please let me make something beautiful, a thing that reminds us there's good in the world.
Good morning and welcome to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. We are delighted to have you here attending virtually. It is good to be together, near and far, a community of youth, adults, and children, sharing the values of courage, reverence, and compassion. I'm Jillian Lampert, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm a member of our board of directors. Our ministry team will be running Cyber Social Hour beginning 5 minutes after the postlude. The Zoom link is in the chat and on our website. This brief session of conversation and sharing is designed to provide a deep and intentional welcome to all. Children, youth, and adults are welcome to attend. We'll have a special breakout group for our youngest members. If you have a request for today's meditation, please place it in the Zoom chat box. If you are new today, please fill out a guest card. You can find the link in the chat box or on our website. And please be sure to sign up to be part of our e-news mailing list, where you'll learn everything happening here at WBUUC. For at least 2 more weeks, we encourage you to attend Self-Guided Soul Work Wednesday. This will take place in person at the church every Wednesday this month from 3 to 6 p.m. This is a choose your own adventure time of spiritual care and nourishment for all ages, and is designed for folks to drop in as your schedule allows. We are hoping to return to multi-platform worship beginning next Sunday, February 20th. Make sure to check the e-news to find out more. And also next Sunday afternoon, we'll be hosting our Living Legacy History Project at 12:30 p.m. on Zoom. We will begin the process of collecting stories about the past and present of WBUUC so that we can build toward a strong and bright future. Check the website for more details. Besides myself, service participants today include Reverend Jack, Reverend Sarah, Ellie Rogers, and Amy Peterson-Derrick. Behind the scenes support from Aaron Scott and Reverend Roger. Music today is from the OK Factor. Welcome to our church. Together we grow our souls and serve the world in love.
Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place. Ellie Rogers will lead us in our chalice lighting.
In my 20s, I ran away with a circus. Not the kind with elephants or barking ringmasters, but a circus full of creative acrobats, wire walkers, and jugglers. I had valued the heady world of ideas, almost dismissive of my own body. So when I first saw the circus perform, it was their physicality that drew me. I over-revered the aerialists who could flip and arc through a spotlight with total grace. I even tried trapeze lessons, but this circus knew it takes all kinds. I climbed down from the trapeze and picked up my horn to join the pit orchestra instead. I offered what was true to me. Others did too. A car mechanic rigged the aerial silks. A farmer transformed the stage between acts. Misfits, idealists, artists came together in community and creativity. Every Valentine's Day, we threw a show with rose petal confetti and incredible feats, of course. Because of Reverend Sarah's topic today, I'm thinking back to the mimes, stuck in boxes they always break out of. That act reminds me of what boxes us in, scripts we stick to around gender, norms about beauty, hierarchy of who is worthy, that is, until we push against the edges, even disappear them as if the boxes were made of air. And aren't they? The circus was a place of imagination and radical belonging. More than one person told me they were saved by it. In the familiar circus cry, "Come one, come all," I can't help but hear the echo of our opening words, which still bring me to tears sometimes. Come into this place, for here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. We light the chalice today for the magic and possibility that kind of love opens for each of us.
Please join me in the opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please join us in our opening hymn, number 1053, How Could Anyone?
How could anyone ever tell you beautiful. How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Good morning. There is a story that we share often, and it's based on a story written by Lynn Unger about a gathering at a UU congregation, not unlike our own, where everyone, children and adults, gather together and are invited to create a paper heart. They're invited to create these hearts to represent themselves and their stories. And there are tables just full of all of the most fun and creative craft supplies that you can imagine to decorate these hearts. There's glitter and sequins and tissue paper and magazines and markers and paints. You get the idea. There was one child at this event who worked really hard to create the most perfect, most beautiful heart that he possibly could. It even had glitter in the shape of diamonds all around the outside. It was sparkly and symmetrical and a perfect heart. As he was helping to clean up, he noticed the heart of one woman who was sitting nearby him at the table. The heart that she made was a mishmash mess of all different colors. It had pieces that were ripped and torn, just glued haphazardly all around it. Parts of it were wrinkled and crinkled, and there was even a teeny tiny hole right in the middle. Now, the child saw this heart and he thought, well, maybe she just needs a little bit of help with her heart. Maybe arts and crafts just aren't her strong suit. But when he offered his assistance, the woman merely smiled and explained that there, in fact, was nothing wrong with her heart. It just showed all of the things that had happened in her life. Right there, she said, pointing to a shiny gem, showed when her heart was super happy, like when she made a new friend or when her child was born, and all of the times she was proud of things she had done or proud of the people she loved. And right there, she said, pointing to a rip, showed all of the sad times in her life when her heart didn't feel so happy, like when her heart felt a little bit broken. The woman told the child about the times in her life when she felt so sad. The time when her best friend got really sick. The times when someone did something to hurt her feelings. When someone she loved died. In fact, every time a person comes into my life that I care about, she explains, they take a little piece of my heart with them. Well, this worried the child, thinking that someone having to give away pieces of their hearts might be really hard. But what happens if you give it all away, he asked. You would be left with nothing. No, I won't, the woman responded with a smile. Because you see, they give me a piece of theirs as well. The child looked down at his beautiful, perfect heart with the glitter and the designs he worked so hard to make. Then he looked again at the woman's mishmash heart with jagged colors, rips, and wrinkles. And without hesitation, the child ripped a piece of his perfect heart and handed it to the woman. I share this story with you this morning and often because this story reminds me that sharing pieces of ourselves and with one another is what we do in this community, however it is that we are gathered. Whether we are in person or online, When we show up full and open, with our full and open hearts, ready to receive one another in all of our complexities, in all of our joys and sorrows, it is a blessing.
Please join me for a moment of prayer and meditation. As we gather together across this telescopic platform, allowing us to be together separately and to be separate together, we have 4 staff here in the building and 130 households joining us virtually. Our chat box serves as our prayer bowl as we take time out of time and pause to consider the joys and sorrows that we all bring together into this moment. We also pause to consider what we mean when we say we. As we walk along the path of today, we notice the swirling dust of snow, the biting winter wind, the shuddering brown leaves still clinging to their almost empty branches. We feel the sunshine on our skin, doing its best to warm us. We try our best to stay in this moment. We feel connected to our pasts, to our ancestors, to those who survived previous winters. And we also look forward to our future, the future of our next generations and those who will survive the winters to come. Finding ourselves in this interwoven blanket of existence, we find comfort. Some of the we who are gathered together today are bringing the joy and celebration of new connections, new opportunities, the births of new babies into this world. Some of the we who are gathered together today are bringing the sorrow and pain of loss, having experienced the death of a loved one, job losses, depression, and addiction. Many of the we who are gathered together today bring with us an assortment of both joys and sorrows. We contain multitudes. In this time of prayer and meditation, we don't expect easy answers or magical solutions. We pray together so that we can feel the effects of being a tight-knit community who holds our beloved others' concerns. When our neighbor suffers, we suffer. When our neighbor celebrates, we celebrate. This morning, our congregation is holding in prayer Alan Hagstrom, who is entering another round of treatment for a recurring lymphoma diagnosis. We pray for a positive outcome. The family of beloved longtime member Bill Bushnell, who passed away last Friday. The flowers here in the sanctuary were given in his memory. We also pray for the family and friends of the Reverend Jean Pupke. Jean was serving as the senior minister of the First UU Church of Richmond, Virginia, and she was a bright and powerful leader in our UU movement. She passed away this week. She advocated passionately for the rights of women, youth, and the LGBTQ community. She is survived by her wife, Regina. And now into this stillness and out of it, we speak aloud the names of those people who we want to be held in light and love. Knowing that together we can hold and carry more than we can alone. Make it so, and amen.
Your gifts to this congregation are many and varied, including giving of your time and talents. Today, we ask for a gift of your treasure to help sustain the work of this congregation as we the work of this congregation as together we grow our souls and serve the world. Thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we live together.
Our reading this morning is from the Reverend Teresa Ninan Soto, lead minister at the First Unitarian Church of Oakland. They are non-binary, Hispanic, and disabled, a visionary poet and champion of all that is good in the world. This poem contains blood. Wait, not blood exactly, mentions of blood. And if I were Naomi Shihab Nye, this poem would be elegant. It would be about plants and cookies and transgression against the violence of political borders. but I have only the story of a gushing nosebleed at 4,000 feet in Salt Lake City. I have the story I was saying, miss, to the young woman next to me. I need help, pointing with specificity at the gate agent near us. Oh, she said, and handed me a salmon-colored bandana. Sorry it's not cleaner. It smelled like peppermints and the common decency of ballpoint pens. Oh, but it is softer, the softest. And the lady named Suzanne, who got her antibacterial wipes out and asked me if she could clean my hands. I said yes, because sometimes sacraments are equal to surprises. And I was busy pinching my nose, busy holding back the iron, earth, and tears that run. Because when your dad almost dies, there is a lot of each. I wish I could say something more elegant, but here is what I know. Two people let their hearts, their actions, be moved by what I was experiencing. They touched me, let me touch them. And I was brought up from beneath the waters to the pale lemon-colored light of polite company, to the bracing flow of an interconnected life.
There's something about you that makes the morning bright, that makes my heart open wide. My heart is in your hands, your heart is in mine. Like starlings in flight, we surrender. How we love, how we fight. It's how we do small things that makes up our whole lives. It's how we heal, how we love. There's something about you that helps me find the sky. We open up our eyes together. Life is in full color, not just black and white. How we paint our lives will be remembered. How we love, how we fight. It's how we do small things that makes up our whole lives. It's how we heal, how we
Happy Galentine's Day, everybody. Today is a made-up holiday created by the writers of the TV show Parks and Recreation. A day to celebrate female friendship. That's what the gal in Galentine's means. Of course, this made-up holiday isn't just for female friendships. It can be a day to celebrate all of your friendships. Today is the day to celebrate the people who helped you through this pandemic, the friends and loved ones who remind you that you are connected and loved. Some of them are in this room with me today and right here on Zoom. Of course, there are many people in the world who feel unloved. People who move through the world without close friendships, friendships they believe they can rely on. There are people who believe they are unlovable. But it isn't true, no matter what they believe, because no one, not a single person or being in existence is unlovable. And yet so many of us worry and wonder and have shame about ourselves because we believe we are unlovable. And if people really knew what was going on inside ourselves, they couldn't possibly love us. I'm so sad when I realize this is true. Partly because I so deeply believe that everyone is worthy of love, and partly because I know that these feelings often get in the way of people being open to the love they deserve. The inherent worth and dignity of all people is absolutely the primary theological underpinning of Unitarian Universalism. It's something we affirm and promote in our principles, but it's also the entire foundation of Universalism. That theology is no one deserves to go to hell, to be punished for all eternity. All are worthy of God's love. Therefore, everyone living should be treated with dignity and respect, no matter their sins, no matter their actions. I would take it further to say, no matter the color of their skin, the size of their body, or their ability, everyone deserves to be treated fairly, and everyone deserves to have the same opportunities to thrive. Our theme of widening the circle, the practice of awareness, asks us to look for and be aware of the ways that we as Unitarian Universalists are unintentionally keeping people out of our circle. The ways we continue to keep others feeling not good enough. The theme is based on the report from the Unitarian Universalist Association called Widening the Circle of Concern, which asks us to do just that, widen our circle of concern to include those who have been in the margins, especially around race. The report points us towards dismantling the culture of white supremacy that is inherent in the culture of our nation, of our denomination, and in our specific churches. This isn't the only thing that it points to us dismantling. There are lots of ways that our culture makes it hard for folks to find a way in. Folks on the fringes are often forced to make their own families, their own cultures that support one another outside of the mainstream. And in some ways, Unitarian Universalists are people who have felt like they don't fit in other places. People who are heretics or misfits, or people who question. In other ways, American Unitarian Universalists are part of the mainstream American culture. We struggle with seeing things from perspectives that aren't our own. We worship like Protestant churches, and our organizations are often structured like them too. We have an individualist streak and often think we're better than those other religions. We carry a lot of the same bias as the mainstream American culture too. Obviously, we're trying to work on our biases, especially around race and LGBTQ inclusion, but some still remain, although they're starting to come to light in many churches, namely bias against people with disabilities, people who are neurodivergent, people who live with mental illness, and fat people. In the American culture that values profit over people, that values excellence and beauty over the real needs of people, there is no room for those who aren't able to keep up. The American culture is so built around the need for labor that bodies unfit for labor are considered less than and not worth supporting. American culture is so worried that someone might take advantage of a system set up to support those who can't work that it makes it almost impossible for those who actually can't work to get the support they need. It's common knowledge that people applying for disability get rejected the first time. And doing the whole process, all that bureaucracy multiple times is exhausting and sometimes not worth the hassle for the small amount of support. Our medical system is so biased that fat people are often diagnosed with being fat and prescribed losing weight as the cure for such disparate things as injured ligaments, insomnia, stomach flu, depression, and has led to so many misdiagnoses of severe health concerns that many fat people just don't want to go to the doctor because they know they won't be taken seriously. American culture is so biased towards unattainable beauty standards that when the Disney animated movie Encanto was getting animated, the artists had to fight to have Louisa, who has the special power of unlimited strength, they had to fight to let them draw her as a big woman with muscles, a strong woman. And then Disney mainly manufactured toys of her sister who fits more traditional beauty standards because they assumed that's what kids wanted to buy. In a turn, the movie is actually about mental health and family dynamics and the importance of talking about the burdens you carry with trusted loved ones. It's not about it's about not letting the bad feelings bottle up inside you until they explode out and shatter the things that are important to you. It's about how the need to look like everything is under control alienates you from the people who want to help you. In the past few years, I've read a lot of media, movies, TV shows, books, even animated Disney movies. I have heard how refreshing it can be to hear about children's movies. I have to say, I was a little taken back when I heard that one because animated movies are no more children's movies than Sunday morning worship is adult worship. They're both created with the needs and interests of people of all ages in mind. The stories that Amy and Nico share with us aren't children's stories, they're stories that create illustrations for our sermons, that stories that connect with the imagination in a different way than others in the service. This morning's story illustrated what it's like to live a life, making mistakes, getting our hearts broken, sharing pieces of ourselves with others, a beautiful mishmash of glitter and wrinkles and holes. We have this idea that a life well lived can be some kind of perfection, but we learn and we know from living that there's nothing more real than having a heart more broken than whole. I'm so grateful for Ellie Rogers, who talked with me and shared her story for the chalice lighting a couple of weeks ago. We're starting a new program of worship associates with ministers get to partner with the worship associate lay leader in our congregation to work through thoughts of the service theme, to work on chalice lighting words, and to spark ideas off of each other. Ellie was gracious enough to be our first shot at it and with short notice, so thank you for taking this leap, Ellie. And it was so wonderful to hear her story about joining a circus. It reminded me of something hard and beautiful about circuses of the past. It reminded me that traveling circuses and sideshow acts were sometimes the only way that people on the outskirts of society could make a decent living. The only way that some folks who were misfits and outcasts could find independence. Because of this, they often became like families, chosen families, made up of the folks whose birth families would have hidden them away or locked them away. People with disabilities, people with unusually sized bodies, people whose brains work differently, people who didn't meet traditional beauty standards, all found community to make their own. They found a circle for themselves in the rings of the circus. Right now, Unitarian Universalism is closer to the center of the circle than we have been for a while, and I can't help but wonder what kinds of families we could make, how many lives we could transform if we could widen our circle, if we were to throw open our ears and hearts and minds and expand our welcome beyond those like us to those who are so different than us, so different that they don't fit here the way we expect them to, but alongside us, other misfits and nomads, different weird than our weird, they could find a welcome and be reminded that we are all beloved, all the same. In our reading, Reverend Soto shares important experience of mutual aid, of widening the circle, when they are forced to ask for assistance when they get a bloody nose in the airport while traveling to see their ill father. They said, "I wish I could say something more elegant, but here is what I know. Two people let their hearts, their actions be moved by what I was experiencing. They touched me, let me touch them. And I was brought up from beneath the waters to the pale lemon-colored light of polite company, to the bracing flow of interconnected life." May we all find this kind of connection in our lives. Amen. Join me now in our closing hymn, number 128, "For All That Is Our Life."
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all that is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our praise and thanks. For all that is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Our benediction also comes from Reverend Teresa Soto. In this community, we hold hope close. We don't always know what comes next, but that cannot dissuade us. We don't always know just what to do, but that will not mean that we are not lost in the wilderness. We rely on the certainty beneath the foundation of our values and ethics. We are the people who return to love like a North Star and to truth that we are greater together than we are alone. Our hope does not live in some glimmer of an indistinct future. Rather, we know that the way of the world of which we dream, and by covenant and the movement forward of our one right action and the next, we know that one day we will arrive at home. Go in peace.